Welcome to Answers for Living. I'm Pastor Dave, and we are exploring the question, who is Jesus, and is he the only way to heaven? When the disciples were asked by Jesus, "Who do you say that I am?" Peter's response was, "You are the Christ, the Son of the living God." And then we said yesterday that the Apostles' Creed says we believe in Jesus Christ, God's only Son, our Lord. I want us to look at that phrase, the Christ. Peter's response is priceless. Here he was just outside of Caesarea Philippi. That's the crown jewel of the Roman Empire. And there is a temple built in honor of Caesar the king. And Peter says to Jesus, "You are the Christ, you are the Christos." Now, immediately we think Peter is saying Jesus is the Messiah. And then we just drop it there. But I want you to follow with me. In the Old Testament, when the Hebrew language was translated into the Greek, the word Christos appeared. Christos applied to kings. Specifically, anointed kings were called Christos. So when Peter says you are the Christos, he is saying, yes, Jesus, you are the anointed Messiah. But the Messiah was the ruler, the king of the world. He would rule the world from the throne of David. So Peter is saying you are the king sent from God to rule the world. Jesus, you're the king, and you are the king over all earthly powers. Now remember, Rome ruled. They ruled from India to England at that time. They had no air force, and if a rebellion took place somewhere in that kingdom, it could take up to 2 years for the soldiers to get there. And when they got there, they would put down that uprising. They were brutal, they were violent, they were ruthless. In the shadow of all their might, Peter says, you're the king. You're the capital K, capital I, N, capital G. You're going to deliver us from Roman rule. You're going to set up your kingdom. You are the Messiah, the Christos. Well, Rome might not be too thrilled to hear that Jesus is a king. So in Peter's proclamation, he's saying to Jesus, you are the Christos, the promised Messiah, the anointed one from God. You are the King of the Jews. You're the King of the world. You are the fulfillment of the prophecy in Isaiah chapter 9, which says, "For to us a child is born, to us a son is given, and the government will be on his shoulder. And he will be called the Wonderful Counselor, the Mighty God, the Everlasting Father, the Prince of Peace. Of the greatness of his government and peace there will be no end. He will reign on David's throne and over his kingdom, establishing and upholding it with justice and righteousness from that time on and forever. The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this." I want you to listen. When Pilate had Jesus crucified, he had a plaque hung on the cross telling everyone Jesus' crime. And it said, "King of the Jews." What Pilate was saying is, your king is dead. Now tune in tomorrow for more on this Messiah.